Scottish Resistance. We're here today to support the people at the Indy Camp. They're camped up here outside the Holyrood Parliament, and they are determined that they're going to stay here until Scotland gets independence. I'm going to let Sean have a few words, and then we're going to speak to some of the people who are here at the Indy Camp. Sean.
Well, this is the People's Vigil for Independence, and this should act as an important symbol to everybody in Scotland that supports independence to come here at some point in time to support it. And what I mean by that is, at the current time, Westminster is imposing massive austerity on the people of Scotland. 970,000 of our people are living in poverty. We've got 200,000 children that will be in poverty by 2020 if we're still not independent. We have got 7,000 families that visited food banks during the month of December, just this month. And now today it's been reported in the National that 19% of teachers in a survey have identified children either stealing or asking for food because they don't have enough to eat. So that's the kind of society we're currently living in. This camp symbolises the demand for Scottish independence. In other words, we need a second referendum by 2017, and we will get that independence at that referendum. And this camp symbolises, this People's Vigil for Independence symbolises the demand for Scottish freedom, the demand for Scottish equality, the demand for Scottish liberation, and this is what this camp is all about. And I would urge you, the people that are watching this, to come across to the Scottish Parliament, to visit, not the Scottish Parliament, but to visit this camp, to see the people that are 7 days a week here all the time, through the winter, through the worst months of the year, are going to be here until Scotland gets its independence. I think they're a wonderful bunch of people, and they should be supported at all times. And it is a People's Vigil. It's not a protest camp. It is the People's Vigil for Independence, because the people of Scotland are sovereign, and this is the symbolism of that sovereignty of the people of Scotland.
Thank you.
I think we're going to have a few words from Moira now.
Oh, hello. Yep. Indy Camp is a People's Vigil. The media would like to keep portraying us as a protest, but they've been reassured that it is a vigil. We had media out here from Catalan the other day.
That's good.
We were interviewed for the Catalan movement. We've had some people from Australia as well, saying that it was on the television over there. There's been wee bits and pieces that we've heard about in India, out in India and China and things like that. It gets around the place. As far as British media is concerned, though, they won't be getting any more interviews until we're recording them.
Good.
They're not. There comes a time where they have to be under scrutiny, and unless they're recorded, they have their own political agenda, and they're serving their own masters, and those masters don't represent us. The camp will be here right through the winter. There won't be any evictions. The law is on our side. We have 4 laws supporting us. They have no laws to remove us. We're only here for independence. There's not a lot of anybody from any particular thing. And
feeling that you're getting a lot of support from other organisations in the Yes movement, Moira? Do you feel that people are coming to you? Are they giving you aid, food, etc.?
I think people have a lot of hope that we can prove that the camp works. I think we've restored hope, and I think there's a lot of different protests and marches and things going on, whereas this is a permanent feature that people can come to at all times. It represents everybody. There's nobody here from any. I'm SNP. We have people that just support independence. We have people from all walks that are on camp, and everybody just gets on. By way of support from the public, we have a lot of people. They come and they say, you've given us hope, and the cupboards are full of food, and we have petrol and fuel, and and that's as a result that people want us to be here. We have support from the original vigil at Calton Hill as well. The men have been down from there offering to spend nights and looking forward to spending nights here, recapturing their youth somewhat. So that's kind of nice. Can I get another question, James, please?
Yes, of course. What I was going to ask you about is the media. ourselves in the Scottish Resistance, we've experienced how biased the Brit media is. The Brit media is the world's most biased media. I've found that when speaking to the international media, they at least give us a voice. The Brit media do not support us in any way. Everything they do against us is detrimental. So what I would like to ask you is, what can you tell us about your feelings about the Brit media when they've approached you regarding the Indy Camp?
Well, I'll tell you, the first thing I would say is, when anything's going to happen at camp, the media know beforehand, and they come here and they pounce on us looking for instant interviews, whereas the Parliament spokesman Paul Grice has been told that they're coming, has time to prepare, gets to see what we said first and respond. It's never a surprise to them when the media turn up. The media has their own agenda and they have their own way of portraying things, which is why they constantly call us a protest. We're not a protest, we're a vigil. They give them prior knowledge of what's going to happen. They always seem to have prior knowledge when something's going to happen at the camp, for instance, sheriff officers, and they're very well prepared. But it wouldn't matter anyway, because whatever they take from the camp, they go back to their offices with their own agenda and they portray it whatever way they want. So let me make it clear, the camp is non-political, it's only for independence, and whatever way or form that comes, we're a vigil, not a protest. Right.
Can I come in and ask a question? Well, would it help if the people from the Parliament, some of the MSPs, more of them, including Nicola Sturgeon, actually came down and showed their support for the camp?
They're welcome for a cup of tea anyway. Anytime the door's open. Though, it won't be an easy ride for them, because we have questions that we like to ask, and although they'll probably enjoy it, most people that come to the camp seem to have a very good time and have a good laugh. So they can come if they want. There's people here all the time. MSPs are no more equal to me than are no more important to me than any individual that walks in for a cup of tea. So whether they come or not, I can understand. I think we do have quite a lot of support. What's resonating from the Parliament, I would say it would be not so much of a guess to say that we do have support within the Parliament, and I think that'll show through time. I think we have to prove that we can get through the legal stuff and we can get through the weather. There'll be no good coming over to us, supporting us just now, when we could be gone in the morning. We understand that. We have things to prove, not only to these guys but to you guys, that the people do have strength and we do have the right to a voice. The media have a voice, these politicians have a voice, but we're the ones that sit in the houses and feel this austerity and feel all these things that are happening to us. We need a voice, and that's all the vigil is saying. We need a voice. We're here for independence, whatever way that comes. But we also need a voice in this society, because we can't just sit and allow things to happen. Politicians often let us down. Right now we're under a lot of rubbish from Westminster, and yet we still have no voice. It's time to create one. If you don't think that people have the right to come and sit and make themselves heard in this way via vigil, then what kind of person are you? That you think that as human beings we have no right to an opinion or to be heard, that it's just up to MSPs. Well, let's face it, it's maybe not really worth leaving it to that, since how many of them have been caught fiddling expenses and all sorts of corrupt acts. We've found out a few just by being on camp ourselves that would actually curl your toes. So the time has come where it's not just going to be the media that has a voice. It's not just going to be MSPs. Everybody has to be under scrutiny. As people, as sitting in this camp so far, we've been under scrutiny. We're fine. Go be sceptical. We'll put up with any scepticism. But these guys need it too. They need it too.
Absolutely.
Or they wouldn't be corrupt.
Can I just say that the Scottish Resistance is given full support to the People's Vigil for Independence, and I'm absolutely confident that the People's Vigil for Independence will be here until Scotland gets independence, because lots of people will come here because it's the People's Vigil. It belongs to all of the people of Scotland that support independence. This is what this camp is about, and this is what the Vigil is about. And what I'd say is it'd be very important for Nicola Sturgeon as the First Minister to come down here and give her support to these people, because they're giving the symbolic support for independence, and she is the leader of First Minister. She'd be coming down here to give her support to these people and to actually meet them and encourage them to continue.
Okay, well, I was just going to ask you a question that that people who watch this later might want to know what they could do to support the camp and how they can help and basically show their kind of solidarity for what you're doing here.
I think as far as food and donations, fuel and logs and petrol, we're kind of stowed at the moment. Every cupboard is full of food, and we put in, the people for the camp put in all the time. People come and donate all the time. Everything that's here is being donated either by camp members or by members of the public. I think what we would like is a few more campers, maybe a few more campers that can do without drinking, that'll be here peacefully, sharing, debating, showing their point of view, putting their flags up, and just being here as part of the community. It's a really nice place to be. You'll be surprised at how comfortable it is, and how well everybody gets on. It's like old time community when nobody locked their door and people went in and visited their neighbours. It'll very much remind you of that. Yeah, so excellent. If anybody fancies a night or two camping or getting involved that way, yep, do so. You're very welcome. Just chuck the kettle on, mine's his tea.
So you wouldn't mind people coming here and pitching up a tent and adding to the amount of people that are already here. Then this is what you want to get done.
I see it's better for rotation. It lets people get away for baths and things like that.
Yeah, of course.
And I think it just creates more of a community. We're building a nice wee community here. We have a nice wee community presently going. It's very funny. We have the guy that wrote Tune the Fat comes here at night, and you get a really big belly laugh out of him. We have people sit and play guitars and things like that when the fire's going at night and things like that. So we wouldn't mind if anybody else wanted to join us, as long as they can do that alcohol free.
Could I ask you a question? Do you miss your home comforts like the television and all that? Do you miss that?
No.
You don't?
It's actually very, very refreshing to snap out of that world.
Yeah.
It's really, really strange how at first you think that you will miss that sort of thing, but when everybody's sitting, there can be 8-10 people in here at night, and there's people standing at the fire, and everybody's just talking and getting on. It's so funny. The humour is amazing. And the learning experience as well, all the different things that you learn, everybody's points of view and things like that. It's really, really inspiring at times. Some things you take on board, some things you don't. It's real community. And you end up calling it home, and it's a bit of a shock to you. Gary and I went away to Morrison's one night, and you're like, oh, it's time to go home, and you think, I'm calling camp home, because it feels like home. It's it's very, very homely. Everybody that's been here will say the same thing. There's a good spirit about the place.
That's great. Excellent.
I think that's brilliant. Absolutely.
Well, keep up the good work, guys. You're doing a great job. The Scottish Resistance, let me tell you, are going to promote the Indy Camp. We're going to get more people to come here and support you, and we're going to get this movement going so that eventually we will be here until we win independence.
Can I just raise another point?
Viva la Vigil.
Yeah.
Basically, I feel very strongly that there shouldn't be divides between people who want independence.
Yeah.
Independence is the goal. It has to happen, and it's
Indy
such a
Camp
sad.
beats the divide. There's no divide here.
That's really
People
important. That's a lovely point.
that came here with divide before no longer have divide when they have a voice and an opinion and a right to an opinion that's respected.
Yeah.
I think that's
So-
very, very important.
It's-
The point
it's very
the
important.
two of you have made. I think it's so important that we stay united, and that any attempt to divide has got to be opposed at all times. We should be promoting complete unity for
Yes.
independence, and I think this camp, the Vigil, symbolises what we need, and that is a referendum for independence in 2017.
Scotland used to be conquer and divide. Now it's conquer the divide.
Excellent.
Indy
Yes.
Camp.
Excellent way of putting it.
Yes.
Conquer the divide.
Indy Camp is conquering the divide
Absolutely, absolutely spot on.
Good.
without a problem.
Right.